In your bio, you say marriage is our spice.
Got engaged in the May 2018 and then married in September 2018. Planned a 10-week trip around the world and quit our jobs all in that 4-month period.
Yeah. We want to be able to be people who can bless people.
Yeah.
We want to be able to support people, and like you need resources to do that. That's why we do what we do.
Do you often get some flack for that?
I married Jordan. People would send me messages on Instagram saying like, she's punching way above her weight. You know,
wow.
You know, we get racist messages, we get ignorant messages. We also get messages of people saying, wow, you've really, like, I needed to see your video today.
People actually want what's authentic.
Jordan, Kezia Lawrence-Graham, welcome to Couple Goals, our relationship podcast where we talk to couples and experts on all things relationship.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. For those who may not know who you are, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Well, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Kezia.
Collectively, we're actually the Lawrence-Grahams.
We are indeed.
The Lawrence-Graham.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
The
Lawrence-Grahams. But myself personally, I am a life coach and entrepreneur.
And I am a paediatric nurse and an entrepreneur myself. And together we are content creators and we are parents to a beautiful 1-year-old baby boy.
We are indeed. So that's us in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Cool. And how long
Very
have you
good.
guys been married?
This September will be 8 years.
8 years.
8 years this September.
And we still really like each other.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yes,
It helps.
it is. It does help.
Oh, well done. Very good. Before we get into things, we have to do the mandatory icebreaker.
Oh,
Play a little
okay,
game.
I'm
Again,
excited.
For those who've not seen the podcast before, this is where we spin this wheel, which has been handcrafted by our producer,
It was his little arts and crafts project.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
and we will answer a question that will hopefully break the ice.
Okay, let's do it.
Right, you're going to spin it. Don't spill the coffee while you do
Yes.
this.
I'll spin it. I'll spin it.
You
right.
spin it. Go for
And we don't know what this question is. We're all going to answer it.
Okay.
it. It is
What is it?
Is it
white
red?
or cream, you like to call that one,
Oh,
don't
it's
you?
Cream.
Okay.
Cream. Right. Okay.
Off-white.
So cream is. They are actually color coded to. This is
To
when.
topics. When?
When. All right. You ready?
Oh.
Let's
here
go.
we
What if
go.
I can't remember when?
Some of these questions have been really epic.
Okay.
So I am intrigued as to how this is going to go. Okay. When did your partner last surprise you?
Ooh.
Great
Okay.
question.
Great question.
I remember the
Yeah?
last time you surprised me.
I hope you remember.
It was very recent.
Was it recent?
It was very recent. I'm just thinking, have you done a surprise since? You're very good at surprising me. It was
I am.
Valentine's
It
Day,
was,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Or the day before Valentine's Day.
Correct.
And it was very sweet. He's surprised. I'd actually fallen down the stairs. Can you believe it? A couple of
Oh,
nights
no.
before.
Oh,
So my
no.
back was so sore. And I kept on saying, you know what? When we get little man to bed, I'm going to have a bath. I'm going to have a bath. The next thing I know, John's ran me a candlelit bath. And because it was Valentine's Day, the next day he'd like blown up some balloons and got me like a nice little drink and snack on the bath bench, whatever you call it. And yeah, just kitted it all out. And then it was like, I never wanted to get out of the bath.
Lovely.
Oh, wow.
Lovely. So that was the last
That's
time
a
you
good
surprised me.
surprise.
It was a lovely
Was.
surprise.
When did
Yeah.
I surprise
If I say so myself.
If I do say so myself.
When did you last surprise me?
Every day I surprise him.
Yeah.
Every day is a surprise.
He never knows what he's going to get.
I'm pregnant.
Don't even joke.
He's panicking now. Like,
That just made my heart rate go through the roof.
Have you told him yet? No.
Literally.
that'd be-
When was the last time you surprised me?
I made you breakfast in bed.
Yeah,
Last
so Kezia
nice.
doesn't always do big surprises. She does nice, consistent sentiments. Like you give
Yeah.
me, like, you know, a nice coffee,
Write you a little
or
note with
pastry.
your, yeah.
I've not had a note recently, but, but you know,
It's all right, babe.
but I have
Make a
had
note of
rece-
that, yeah.
I've received them previously, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the breakfast
But
in
but
bed.
you do. But you definitely you're consistent
Thank you.
with the small things.
Thank you.
Which I
That's it, there you
appreciate.
go.
Oh,
They're
okay,
just as
that's good.
important as the
That's
big
good.
gestures.
They
There
are.
we
What
go.
about you? Are you guys going to
We got to
answer
answer this
it?
as well. Mine's nowhere near as good as yours. I've got one for you. Have you got
Okay.
one for me?
No.
Oh, great.
Right, you go first. Give me time to think.
No, it's only a little one. It was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I cycled home from work, chucking it down, and it was minging, and we're not having a lovely time, and got in, and you had the fire on,
Oh
It's
yeah.
got a nice wee little wood burner.
Nice.
It's going to sound so old-fashioned, but I just appreciated it.
Yeah.
The fire was on. The kids were chill. You had dinner ready
Dinner
to
was
go,
ready.
and like
Wow.
life's busy, so that's it doesn't
Yeah.
happen all the time, which is understandable. And it's like, who's making dinner and bloody blah. Well, you always making dinner. I'm not even going to pretend.
I like to cook.
I'm not even going to pretend
No.
it's any other way.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
And you did it specifically for me,
Yeah.
which I would appreciate.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
you
you've
were
had a
aware
hard
it was a
week.
mad day. So yeah.
And he was cycling home from work, so I knew he was coming
Yeah.
home like pretty
Wow.
drenched.
oh, like a drowned rat. Yeah.
You were dripping when you came in the back door.
Wow.
Yeah, Welsh rain is particularly sticky.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wasn't fun. But yeah, so that was nice.
So
Yeah.
thoughtful.
Right, now dig
Lovely.
deep.
Oh, I know. I hate these things. I always think of like loads after, and in the moment, I feel like you say all these lovely things about me, and I have nothing.
We'll cut to a standby. Yeah. Come on.
I mean, can I just
I
say
can't
this cup
take
of coffee
pressure.
was a lovely surprise this
It is.
morning.
Oh,
Well,
good.
do you know what?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you. You've like just got me off the hook.
we
He
go.
surprises me with a freshly brewed coffee every single morning.
Wow.
And when he goes away,
I'm not
I just
buying
don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I don't know. I end up, just doing like a cheap bag of like instant stuff.
Yeah, because you're like,
Right.
I can't do it anymore.
Right,
we
I'm not letting you have that.
Oh, come on.
Well, we'll move on, but if I surprise you
first.
every morning
It's not a
with
surprise.
something that I
Yeah.
do every morning, are you all right?
Well, then
was
you
saying
can't
it's
have
something
that.
Oh, another
either.
coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
Jordan can't
I just
have it either 'cause he
piggybacked on
said-
Jordan's
yeah.
idea
Yeah.
of Kezia being
So it's
like
your
so
fault, really.
consistent
No,
in that. Yeah.
No, but
It's a consistent surprise. Very
Yeah.
good.
It's a consistent surprise.
But I said there wasn't a surprise, but there was consistency.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. I'll
Yeah.
let you have that one. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll let you off.
Cheers, Jordan.
There you go. Another successful icebreaker.
They always go well.
Oh, right. Do you want to kick us off, babe?
Yes, because I have got a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at your Instagram, I found this really interesting. In your joint one that you run together, the
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Lawrence-Grahams, in your bio, you say marriage is our spice. What does that mean?
Ooh. Kezia, you can,
Marriage is our spice.
you can definitely answer
I know. I
this.
came up with that phrase, and I knew one day.
Someone's
Someone
gonna ask.
was going to ask me. I didn't
Today
know it was
is
going to
that
be this
day.
publicly.
Marriage is a spice.
But here we go. You know what? I think putting that, what I mean is, obviously, you've got the everyday flavours of life. Do you know? But for us, marriage is, although a lot of people are married, I feel like our marriage is what sets us apart. Like our marriage is what adds flavour to our life. Like, and it's something that we intentionally build, that we invest in, that we continually come back to, that we're continually working on. So yeah, it's our spice. Like it's what,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just that little extra
I
something.
like
Yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
I would add to that and say that is something, especially I think amongst culture, society. Like not many people believe in marriage so much anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that we've definitely been intentional in our representation of what marriage can look like. Not perfect at all. It can look messy. It can look, out of rhythm. It can look countercultural, and that's okay. Like
Yeah.
it can be, how you decide it to be. So for us, it's looked like travel. It's looked like buying and selling houses. It's looked like doing family things. It's looked like lots of different experiences. But that's like our right. Like that's the spice that we've chosen.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
flavor our life with.
Yeah.
And marriage has kind of spearheaded that.
Yeah,
So I
I'd say
think-
that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it just, I'd say without our marriage, life would be boring and bland. So it is the spice. We're not saying that spice is always good. Sometimes you get the spice
Or
that
spicy,
you
ooh.
know. Yeah, it's like that
Sometimes
is
it's a
too
bit
much
too-
spice,
it's a bit
or
too
like that
much
is
spice. Yeah,
uncomfortable
yeah.
spice, or
Yeah.
that's painful spice.
That's a
It
vindaloo marriage. That
That's
one.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all within the spice category. But yeah, it's the spice we choose.
That's
we like
it.
it, and I think it also because we got married actually quite quickly in probably the eyes of the world.
Yes,
and-
you did.
Yes, and I was younger when we got married, or we were both younger, but I was a little bit more younger. And I feel like people are like, oh, your life not. Well, some people do believe almost your life ends when you get married.
Yeah.
Oh, you just get
Yeah.
married, you have
Yeah.
a couple of kids, you work
Yeah.
9 till 5, you live in a house, and that's that. And actually, like, yeah, I think we were determined from early on to show no, life begins when you get married, and like you can
Absolutely.
build something so special,
Fully
so
agree.
unique, so spicy.
I love
So there
that.
we go.
Yeah.
That's where
So
it came
good.
from, and I'm so glad you asked me that because now I have an answer.
Yeah,
There you go. There you
There
are.
we go.
Brilliant.
And it can officially stay in the bio.
Yes.
And you're on the right podcast, so that's all right then.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Clearly, marriage is our spice too, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Couple goals.
You guys can have it too. You can put it in your
we tag
bio.
on that?
Take
Yeah.
it.
Can we trademark that? Yeah, great. Well, going back to what you just said, actually, so you got engaged you had a very short engagement. So like one of the reasons we wanted to chat to you guys, because marriage clearly is your spice, and you do it spicily.
Yes.
You go at things hard.
Correct.
Yes.
But your story of how you guys got married and and your early years of marriage. Do you want to explain a little bit for that?
Yeah.
To give some context.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
viewers.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to kick it all off, we met in the street. So
Yeah.
it started very unconventionally. We met in the street, and from that moment on, I think life went 100 really.
Pretty much.
I remember the day we literally did meet in the street, and after speaking for a little while, realised we had a mutual friend. And when I said goodbye we introduced ourselves and said goodbye, I turned to my friend and went, "That's my husband."
That's insane.
Just like it was like something just it's almost
knew.
before your mind and your heart like connect. I just opened my mouth and that's my husband. And nothing actually, we didn't actually start really getting to know each other till a year later. But then we probably were kind of getting to know each other and then dating for maybe a year and a half. Got engaged in the May 2018 and then married in September 2018. And I think it was just like we just knew that we had a lot to do in life.
Yeah.
And
And I'd add and say
Yes.
I knew that you was the right person to do a lot of stuff with,
yeah.
for sure.
And we were very intentional very early on. So
Yeah.
tried to have as many of the uncomfortable, awkward conversations as possible very early on. And we didn't live together or go on holiday or anything until we were married. So we kind of had set everything up just to get our lives going almost.
Right.
And that 4-month period was, I mean, the amount we did in that we got
That's
engaged.
crazy.
We bought a house. We planned a wedding for 280 people.
Oh
and
my
then-
word.
Wow, that's a
Which
big
increased
wedding.
to nearly
seriously,
400
yeah. Oh
people
my
in the
goodness.
evening.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was basically
Well done.
it was a festival.
Planned a 10-week trip around the world
Oh my
and
word.
quit our jobs all in that 4-month period.
Yeah. It was
And
That's
stretching.
not doing things by
Yeah.
half.
No.
And you know what's so funny? Someone like gave a talk at our wedding during our ceremony and said, when I think of Jordan and Kezia, I just think of the number 100. Like they just do everything 100. They love 100. They like live 100. They do 100. And I really do feel like we've just, that message has stuck with us through marriage. We just go at things 100. We don't always get it right. It's not always 100% right, but
Yeah.
we'll give it 100.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
full throttle.
Absolutely. So our wedding day was actually, we had a ceremony outdoors
Right.
in the UK.
In the UK.
Yeah.
On the 29th
always
of
risky.
September.
At the end of
borderline arrogance,
September,
sir.
literally, we were just like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it 100. You know,
Cool.
End of September
and
as well.
We had no wet weather backup,
Yeah.
and do you know what? It was the most beautiful
Oh, I
day.
love
of
that.
People
the
got
year.
sunburnt. People
Yeah.
got sunburnt.
Amazing.
And the
Yeah.
weekend before, it was chucking it down rain, and
whole
everyone was
week
calling
leading
me.
up.
The venue was like, "What do you want to do? Like, you need a wet weather backup." And I was like, "It's just not going to rain. It's just not going to rain."
It's
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and it was pure
beautiful.
sunshine. People got
Oh,
sunburnt, and then the
amazing.
next day,
Chucked it
chucked
down.
it down.
Yeah.
So that is how we just we live
I
with a
love
lot of
that.
faith, and we live
Yeah.
with a lot
With
of
grit.
just.
Do you tell
Yeah.
people your wedding story and they go, "Oh, great, hate that."
Yeah, because people are getting married on in July, and
we got
it's
married in
just-
July and it was torrential rain.
Oh, I know. I'm so sorry.
That's us, yeah. Sorry, guys.
We've just offended half of Britain.
It's like when you have kids and your babies sleep really, really well. You're like, "Oh, do they? Great."
Yeah, yeah.
Really
But
have.
then you're almost
Sleeping
afraid
through
to
from like
tell
a month
people.
old. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. We've been there, guys.
Yeah,
don't
we've been
worry.
Oh goodness me! And the house you bought, that wasn't just a house, was it? That was like a project, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Correct. That was a project. So that was something. So before, again, we got married, we spoke about how we want life to look. And Kezia was like, well, if the house that we're going to get, I don't really want to have to do work to it. We can get like a nice new build. And in my mind, I've always been a bit of a dreamer. I've always been
Yeah.
someone who
Yeah.
has had big goals and ambition. And I went to view this particular house. It was old and it was dated, but when I walked in, it just felt so loved, and like it felt like this could definitely be our home. And I remember going upstairs in the back bedroom, and there was a particular symbol that I saw on the mirror, and I just knew this is my home.
Wow.
And then I went and told Kezia, and she trusted me.
Yeah, so I didn't actually see the house till after we got the keys.
No, she didn't know.
Literally.
That
And that has been the story of our
That's
life.
trust.
Yeah.
We then went on to
Wow.
renovate and sell and flip 5 houses in the first 5 years of marriage.
Oh, wow.
And every single one I didn't see until an offer had been accepted and we were buying it.
Fair play.
And I just feel like it was something really early on that I was just like, I'm going to trust my husband with this. And I mean, it has paid off, thankfully. But what's funny is that Jordan didn't even own a toolbox before we got married. So we bought this house and
So
we were
you
like,
weren't a renovator?
Not at all.
oh, we knew.
my word.
Yeah, so
I was a corporate
yeah,
guy.
he was in the corporate
No
world.
So I
way.
knew nothing about
I was a nurse.
renovations.
We- yeah.
None of that.
Before
no.
we got married, we weren't entrepreneurs. We weren't like,
Yeah.
but we came together and we were like, we want to live life differently. We want freedom. We want to be about something bigger than ourselves. We want to create impact. We want to inspire. And we're like, okay, how are we going to do that? And Jordan you'd always thought about property, hadn't you? You'd always, it just
I
been
sort of had a
something-
passion,
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
but never quite outworked it.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? Because it was like you grew up on an estate, like you grew up, without, and then actually that was something that you were so drawn to
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
dreamed about for so long.
And what was interesting is the area that we actually moved into. I remember when I was, very young, my dad would always sometimes, take us in the car and drive around certain areas to say this is basically I think just to increase our aspiration.
Okay.
And
okay.
inspire us as children.
Yeah.
And so there was a particular area that we wanted that he always used to take us around. That happened to be the area that we actually bought our first house.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So
full
we
circle
bought the
story.
worst house in the best area, basically.
Yes, yes.
And then we had like a little bit of money, and we were like, okay, we're just gonna figure this
See
out.
what
Like,
happens.
and there had to be some structural work done to it. So that's when we just went away. All my family live abroad, so we went and visited them after the wedding. Well, the house
being
got
ripped to pieces.
ripped to pieces, and we got back, and so we got back in January, and we had no electrics,
Oh, no.
no heating. I remember arriving home at probably 9 p.m. at night in January in England. It was freezing, and we realised we had no water, no electrics, no heating. And so Jordan went out to Tesco. We brushed our teeth with bottled water over the toilet, the one toilet. I think that one flushed
Yeah,
downstairs.
That was the one that flushed, yeah.
And that night we slept in our winter coats
did.
on this bed that we got off Free Cycle, which
That's
has
so
come in very
good.
handy
Good.
before.
That was dusty as anything.
Yeah,
We were
and-
eating dust.
But you know what? And then for the next 5 months proceeded to renovate our first house. And
Wow.
we lived off, I went back to nursing, lived off my wage whilst Jordan just shadowed the guy that we'd obviously employed to do the house and just learned everything he possibly could about
amazing.
property, about
Right.
what
Just everything.
what you have to do.
structural
Yeah,
regulations,
everything.
planning
So just
permissions,
just
and all the rest of
did.
it, yeah.
And, but you know what? Looking back at those 5 months, we had some of the funniest,
It was a blast.
funnest.
The fact that you just went, you look back at those 5 months.
You did that in 5 months? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Honestly, that house. But like, I just remember it was so because we're newlyweds as well, right?
know.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we just had some fun though. I remember
did.
one night we were trying to like string up my scarves to create curtains in the
Oh, yeah.
bedroom.
Oh,
just so we
that's
could have a
so
bit of privacy,
good.
you know, newlyweds and all. Yeah. We're trying to like string the curtains up and like.
I think we used a towel as well.
Yeah, I used a towel. Like, it
That's
was just
so
so funny.
funny.
That's
We'd get
crazy.
into, I'd finish a shift and we'd get into bed at like midnight, and then I'd be like, I really want some gummy bears. And Jordan would jump out of bed and say, "Come on." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He'd be like, "Get your coat on." I'd be like, "What? It's like midnight." And it's just gummy bears. And he'd say, "Babe, there's going to be one day that we have kids, that we
That's
think,
so
and we're not going to be
true.
able to just go out at midnight and buy gummy bears." And so we just
I
go
love
out.
that.
Yeah, we just go.
Why not?
I mean, we probably would still put baby boy in the
I
car
know,
and
we
go
would
out at
do.
midnight. But yeah, there were some fun days.
Yeah.
Flip me.
That's so good. Like, I remember whenever we got like our first rented house, that we went from like a rented place that was furnished.
Yes.
And then the next place we moved into was rented and it was unfurnished.
Wow.
And I was just, you're taking me
Oh,
back to
man.
that even.
Yeah.
And
Oh
we
my
had
goodness.
we had one armchair that someone else was getting rid of that they gave to us. And I just have this memory of that armchair being in the middle of this like empty room.
This big empty room.
And we were both
yeah.
like crushed onto it, having a Chinese and like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
amazing.
They're the best
Yeah.
days.
Yeah,
That
eating
was
your dinner
nice.
on the floor
Special
or on the
memories.
stairs.
Yeah.
They are, they weren't they? And
Yeah.
it is what you make of it.
Absolutely.
isn't it?
It is.
I think, like a lot of life, it's perspective, isn't it? And it's
Yeah.
mindset. And we've not always had a great. There's been some times that were low
Tough.
Yeah,
during
absolutely.
the different renovations over kind of the last years. Some moments where you just think, goodness me, this just isn't going to be worth it. Like this is too hard, or like we just made, and we have made a lot of mistakes that have been very costly, like financially, emotionally, mentally. But actually now, like we always say, like the grit and the grace that is installed in us, like has been, I think, a priceless lesson that we only would have learned by going on the journey we have.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is a lot about perspective. Like, we created in our last house that we currently live in, that's like our family home. We turned the upstairs bedroom into, like, we call it our studio apartment, because we had to live in this one room whilst the rest of the house got ripped to pieces.
We had that recently.
Yeah, we didn't have
Yeah.
a roof on half the house, and then it rained for like 8 weeks straight, and all of that.
The house
But
got
we just
soaked.
turned this one bedroom into and we just call it our studio apartment. And I'm like, oh, you're going back to the apartment, babe, or like go back to and it literally was a bed, some clothes rails, and we managed to put a microwave and a little mini fridge in there.
Oh, that's literally what we did.
That is what we
Yeah,
did
and a little blow
recently.
heater.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had that recently because the entire downstairs of our house was totally gutted. It was all ripped out. So we had this kind of like little dream. I'm a bit of a dreamer as well, and I was like, I always loved the idea of one day buying a place,
Yeah.
and buy cheaper, and then we'd have some money where we could do it up over the years, bit by
I
bit.
always say theoretically we can afford it.
I remember when we started it was like this time last year,
Yeah,
basically, when we like hit the green light on it. We're like, right, let's do this. And, I was like, yes, this is fantastic. Darling, let's build something together. It'll be wonderful. And then you go through it and I was like,
She's
let's
the
never
romantic
do that
of the
again.
two of us, Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very like Insta versus reality moment.
Yeah,
We had a lot of
absolutely.
them. Like we
Yes.
got a lot of really cute phrases out of those times. But the
Yes.
reality of getting what that actually looked like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Puts you through it.
So I think it's fair to say, well, first of all, you need to get the screenplay written for your marriage story.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'd
worth
watch
a
that.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'd watch that movie.
Who would play me? I need to have a think about that.
Oh, here we go.
You blame me.
Yeah.
That's an icebreaker question. Who
Yeah.
would play you
Yes.
in your movie? At some point, though, so I'm trying to think of the timeline. So that was 5 months after you got engaged.
And you'd only been engaged for 4 months.
So
So
we got engaged
the May.
in May.
Married September.
March, September.
Travelled till
But
the
we got the
January.
keys September.
We got the keys 3 days before our wedding.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then so we got married. We went on honeymoon, and I think when we came back,
We were
was
back
October,
for 3 weeks between honeymoon and
that's
10
when the work
weeks
started.
travelling.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
handed the keys over.
Right.
And then
We left for
I
10
know, it was
weeks.
go,
Yes.
go, go.
Yeah.
That
So it
first
was-
year
Yeah.
for you guys.
So then it
Which
was
is
the
crazy.
January we actually started living back in it, and then we completed it in time for Jordan's 30th back then in May, and we
May,
hosted
yes.
it in the house,
Yeah, we
your
did.
30th,
Yeah.
to celebrate.
Right.
yeah.
So romantic isn't really the word.
Chaos.
Is there a point then? So like, that's all epic. That's
Yeah.
like incredible. And I think a lot of people listening to that would be like, oh my word, wow, that is such a like big story. Was there a point where it was reality kind of struck? Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What
Yeah.
did that? What was that, and what did that feel like?
Yeah, I remember. I remember being. So we went to New Zealand. My family all from New Zealand. So we were in New Zealand. We were sat in my dad's back garden, and we'd been traveling for maybe like 6-7 weeks at this point after our marriage. And I feel like it was the first time since probably the moment we got engaged where we'd had like a minute to breathe, and it was suddenly like the reality of everything we'd just done.
Yeah.
Like, bought a house that we had no clue what we were doing with, and whether we started it without even having the money to finish it.
Yeah.
On this big trip where I was learning a lot about Jordan that I did not know. I feel like
Who is this dude?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I literally feel like that's what happens. So you marry someone thinking you know them, you get married and you're like, I do not know you at all.
Who are you?
Yeah. And I just remember having this moment where we sat down. We hadn't had really an argument. We hadn't had any argument or anything, but we just had this moment where we sat down. We looked at each other and we said, have we done the right thing here? Like, it was just the thought of like, this is for the rest of our lives. Like, and we really need to figure out how my life and your, like, how we become one.
And how we actually coexist.
Yeah, and I think that word becoming is so important, because you get married and, you know, a lot of languages use, you know, two become one flesh, you know, during your marriage vows, or, you know, you join your lives together. And, but like the actual joining and the becoming, it really is that. It's not you became on one single day. It's like,
that is the marriage.
Yeah,
I still believe we're becoming now.
Oh,
like we're still to this day learning to be one and to like see what that life looks like.
And what I'd add to that is that I think that in every season, you know, year, milestone in life, you actually have to re-become, if that makes sense, because who we were when we were dating is very different to who we were in the first year of marriage, which is very different to who we were in second year, very different to who we are now as parents, you know, with different responsibilities, etc. But I remember being in New Zealand, and my father-in-law, he said, right, son, we're going fishing. And I was like, whoa, never been fishing before. And he was like, no, we're going sea fishing. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so epic. So I'm thinking, my first time going fishing. He takes me out on his boat. And so he takes me, so the boat is docked in the river. So I'm like, okay, cool. The river is brown and it's quite murky. And he says, we need to kind of go out, you know, a couple of miles and then we'll be in the sea. So I'm thinking, this is epic. So as we're in the boat, we're heading towards where like the river meets the sea. And he says something to me which just completely shifted my whole perspective on life. He says, the river evidently is brown and murky. The sea is blue and it's beautiful, it's pristine. He says, but where the river meets the sea, it's actually quite dangerous. And it says, actually, unless you're quite skillful and you have the ability to navigate through it, you can actually get into a bit of danger. It's turbulent. And it's very turbulent. And when he said that, like in my heart and in my mind, I thought I just related it to marriage.
Because we just had that conversation.
Because we had just had that conversation. And I thought, well, actually, I can be the river, you know, Kezia's the sea. But actually, the becoming looks like that navigating through it. There's a bit of turbulence where the two are becoming one.
Yeah, where the currents collide.
And where the currents collide, correct. Yeah. And that really taught me a lot about, okay, cool. What it did is it gave me the expectation of like what us two becoming one could look like. And I think that was really important for like us, you know, having all of these different dynamic, you know, parts of life and things that we're managing and navigating, actually giving each other like space to grow, like actually giving it sort of like the grace, because it's so easy just to have expectations and why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that, and life's busy and we've got this invoice to send and we've got that email to respond to, we've got this phone call to make and so on and so forth. But actually, as we're growing and becoming, you know, one, like being gracious with it. So that was like a real life lesson for me.
Yeah. And actually, I think throwing ourselves in the deep end the way we did, like I used to say, like, if you can survive traveling together, you can survive anything, you know, like, because those kind of intense environments really are make or break.
They're stressful, aren't they?
Yeah, massively. And then so with buying and renovating houses, and we just decided to do that 5 times in the first 5 years. But honestly, I remember hitting our 5-year wedding anniversary and we called it like our 5 years of grace. We look back at the first 5 years of marriage and we're like, goodness me, like we made so many mistakes. We had so many arguments. There was some of our best times of our lives in those 5 years, but I don't think we would have had them unless we'd had those rock bottom, are we going to make it moments? And there were those moments, absolutely, because we had decided we wanted more out of life, which meant that we then had to really put ourselves in those intense, high pressure, uncomfortable situations. We didn't have to, but we chose to, and we chose to do that together. And I just remember like those times living in that one room and we just had a big argument and then there's nowhere to go. You're like trapped.
You can't
You're like, you sit that side of the bed, I'll sit this side of the bed, face the wall.
You have to deal with this.
Like,
draw a line down the middle of the room.
Just to give like additional context, like there'd be some days where I would literally change outfit like 3 times. Like in the morning, I might be on site, you know, ripping out, I don't know, an old fireplace. Then I'd go home, get changed very quickly. Then I'd have like a wedding or modelling shoot, so I'd need to go and get my suit ready, you know, and then because we'd be traveling somewhere. Session. And then in the evening, I'd come back and then I'd be coaching a client, etc. So, and like having that, you know, varied dynamic of life, it really does put you through it. But I think that, you know, in and amongst some of the, you know, colliding in the becoming, like they're really key lessons and it's really built in as like capacity. That's what I'd say we've really.
And I think just that it's forced us to learn to communicate very well.
Absolutely.
Because like I would come home as well, bear in mind while he's doing all of this at home, I'm working a 13-hour shift with screaming children in a hospital.
I used to work long shifts in a hospital.
And like being a children's nurse, like you see, and I predominantly worked in A&E, so you see the worst of the worst of the worst. So I would come home and, you know, Jordan would have been working alone all day, so he wants to like talk and catch up and tell me about it. And I'm like, I do not want to hear another sound all night because I am like, it would just take all the capacity out of me. And then I'd feel like my husband would get leftovers. So then it was just like, well, how do we? So I feel like all of these life situations, circumstances has really taught us how to communicate like really well, and communicate when that's the last thing you want to do, and communicate when you're tired and you're hungry and you don't want to, but you know that's what your partner needs right now. You know, it's been those moments, but I'd still, you know, we're nearly 8 years in now, and adding a child to the mix. You know, we've now entered this whole new, we're like, and we're starting again. It's like, and I need to relearn who you are now as a father.
It's another person.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think Jordan really felt it with me because, like you said, when you become a mum, I chose to breastfeed. That's a whole new dynamic, because then he's like, I want my wife back. Like, he almost felt like, you know, his, you know, although he loves his son more than anything, he's like, you get all of her, and then again, I'm almost
left with the
share you.
I'm left with the scraps.
Honestly, especially, I mean, you must. I remember talking about this.
We've got 2 kids. Yeah. And I remember whenever like the kids came along, there was one evening you said to me, I feel like you never hug me anymore. And you need your hugs. You did. And I felt bad because, I was breastfeeding as well. And you get to that point you were like, I just don't want anyone to touch me now. The kids are in bed at long last.
Touched out.
I was touched out to the max.
Exactly. And that was hard because before kids, my love language was physical touch. Like, I love physical touch. I think at one point he wanted to limit me to like 5 kisses a day, just because I'd be like, hold my hand, kiss me, love me. And then I had our little boy, and then it was that point where it's like, I do not want anyone close to me right now. Like, I just want to be on my own. And actually it's just it's all those different seasons of learning and navigating through them, but we're grateful.
In the midst of all that kind of crazy as well, like those 5 years like you're talking about, did anybody at any point say to you, do you think you should slow down?
Oh my gosh. So
I think a lot of people thought, what are you doing?
Do you know, one of the things that me and Kezia are very okay at is being misunderstood.
Oh, okay.
Like, we're actually okay with it, because I think that we've like intentionally like, okay, if we were different in terms of, you know, how we receive like feedback, etc., we wouldn't have got married for a start so quick. We wouldn't have got married in the venue that we did. You know, we wouldn't have then gone traveling. We wouldn't have then built the house, and then we wouldn't have left our jobs and all the rest of it. So we've had to become very thick-skinned and like very robust, and also very just driven towards what we actually want to get out of life, if that makes sense. But we've had a lot of feedback.
Focused.
We have to be very focused. But we've had different people who have had, you know, different ways of viewing our life, and that's, let's be honest, that's cost relationships. At times it has cost relationships.
And I think because we're on social media, if you put yourself out there and you start to get a bit of a following and things, then you naturally open yourself up to a lot of opinions. Even looking at us, you know, you can we're an interracial couple, like we're from different backgrounds, different cultures, with different ages, and so people there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions out there, and you naturally open yourself up to that. And then on top of that, we're striving to do more, be more, inspire more, you know, make a change, and that can make other people feel uncomfortable. Absolutely. And we've really not got it right a lot of the time. And we're very like, we put ourselves in situations all the time where we just to learn, like we just want to learn, we want to be around other couples and other people that have, you know, gone before us and done it and done this and done that, and we love that. I would say that there has been a lot of questions where I would question, if I saw someone living life sometimes the way we have, I would also question it. And so it has come out of love a lot of the times. Other, it's just come out of like, what are you doing? You're crazy. But I think we've always invited people along that journey with us. Correct. And we've said, hey, like, we're not perfect by any means. Like, we actually sometimes have no clue what we're doing, but something again about me and Jordan, we're not afraid to just try. Like, we'll try, and we've failed many times, we've got it wrong many times, but we've then learned, and we've tried again, and we've succeeded, and then we can helps someone else and brings, you know, that other person to that success. So we just invite people along with the journey with us. And I think, again, that's why the phrase marriage is our spice works for us, because it's like spice is all over the place sometimes. Like, it's not a straight path, but we're inviting people on that journey with us and saying, hey, let's see what we can make out of this life and get out of this life.
But equally, we've created invitation, but at the same time, we've also had to learn boundaries as well. So it's kind of been double-edged. So yes, we are like an open book. We will share, talk, we will laugh, we'll invite. Our home is an open house. Like, guys, come round. You know, like we love that. We love to host. We love to facilitate. Like, people, they enjoy
when we've had a roof and a house.
When we had a roof.
Come to the apartment.
We'll bring food to you in the meantime. But
You can sit on the bed. We'll sit on the floor.
Come on ours and bring dinner, please.
So we love all of that, but at the same time, we've had to learn like boundaries as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've had to learn like, actually who is in a position where we actually, not that we don't regard people's opinion and feedback, but you know, it doesn't always serve where we're going. If that makes sense.
You have to protect your marriage in some ways, don't you? Because it's
well, I think if you've got a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve with your marriage, the message you're trying to put across, and you're in that together, and you have faith in where you're trying to get to,
absolutely,
then as a couple, you do need to put up some clear safeguards and think, right, okay, I don't maybe the advice we're giving here isn't necessarily in line with what it is we're trying to achieve. And I think every marriage at some point needs to, you both need to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
And only you two know your marriage.
Correct.
And obviously you are listening to older couples who've gone before you and taken that wisdom on board. Yeah. So, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with being clear in this is who we are. And we're the Lawrence-Grahams.
We're Lawrence-Graham. But we also have, we do like, we started something probably 3-4 years into marriage called we do a marriage MOT. We're like, if your car has to get MOT every year, then why not your marriage? And so, you know, that's something that we've done with other couples at times, like, you know, but it's just, it's a time we sometimes have like our monthly get-togethers, and then we'll do like a big end of year, almost like marriage MOT, like, hey, let's look at our lives, like, what's working, what's not, like, how are we communicating, like, actually when you do this it makes me feel this way, or, you know, how's our finances, how's our sex life, how's now parenting, like, are we on the same page with XYZ, and I think it's so important to revisit those things, which I think also helps when questions or input comes from, you know, surrounding people. Yeah, absolutely. And social media and the pressures and the XYZ. I think if you, like you said, if you know that you're aligned, you're communicating through it, you're on the same page, then you're setting yourself up for
It's a bit awkward when you get your oil changed though, isn't it?
Sometimes
let that settle and go, what does he mean? Right, I think we're getting into some of the practical stuff. So I really like that MOT thing. So let's have a break there. And when we come back, we'll get more into some of those practical things and delve a bit deeper. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Great. Is your relationship on autopilot?
In the beginning, relationships can feel like the start of a new adventure, but without effort and intentionality, it's easy for couples to drift apart. If you want to invest in your relationship, you'll love Going the Distance, a marriage event from Care for the Family.
For the first time ever, we'll be joining the Going the Distance team with previous Couple Goals guests Catherine Hill, Kathy Madafan and Philip Janadu. Full of wisdom, humour and vulnerability, we'll be exploring the essential areas to help strengthen your marriage together.
We also have 2 great parenting events, as well as our sellout event hosted by our founder, An Evening with Rob Parsons.
All our events go on tour across the country, so to buy tickets or for more information, go to cff.org.uk/tour events. See you there. Welcome back from the break. Before we get into the practicals, we talked about before the break, we'd speak about some practical things that people can do to sort of maintain romance in their marriages. Before we do that, if we could stay a little bit longer on what it is actually like to be content creators, particularly when marriage is your spice.
Yes.
And how that is perceived, because looking at your Instagram page, you do a lot of shoots with different brands. Do you often get some flack for that or misunderstandings when people go into your page and they think, oh, what a glamorous life they lead, and actually reality is probably not that?
Yeah, I think we've always tried to be really transparent on our page because we're very aware of the pressure that comes with social media and how people can look at something and think, oh my goodness, they've got perfect lives, they've got a perfect marriage, they've got, perfect glamorous, world. So we've always tried to be transparent. I mean, recently, not that long ago, we actually did a post about that. We showed a clip of us standing in our beautiful new renovated kitchen with our newborn baby. Obviously, so it was maybe a year ago, and it had the quotation marks, "They're so lucky," which we've heard before, and then it actually went on to show clips of the year prior to that, which was living with no roof in a tiny, smelly 1-bedroom. We actually went through a miscarriage during that renovation. So we'd lost a baby. And then I even remember 3 days after that, we had to travel to Paris because we were working with a hotel out there and we'd signed contracts that were really difficult to get out of. And we hadn't had travel insurance at that point because all our money was in the house renovation. So we couldn't get money back on any of our transport. So we ended up going to Paris and doing the content required for this hotel. And then I just remember we'd be back in our room probably by 2 p.m. every day. Would cry myself to sleep. Jordan would have to sneak out and get a McDonald's because he was starving, but I was just in bits, And we try and show, at the time we couldn't show that world because it was too raw, it was too painful. So people would just see us eating breakfast by those beautiful Parisian windows in our dressing gowns. But actually the reality was, we were grieving, we were hurting, it was painful. And now, we've been able to share about that, and, we've now been blessed with this beautiful baby boy. But, we try and make content like that to show, what, we are so grateful for our life. We're so grateful for what we've built, for what we do, the brands we work with, the traveling. It's amazing, but there is always a backstory, and we always remind people that we are human, and we face real life. I mean, even if the people that know us and sit down with us, John said, we are an open book because we want people to know where we've come from. I'm from a broken family. My mum passed away when I was 12. I was out of school for months because we were transitioning to guardianship to live with another family after my mum passed away. So we've lived some real life, we've gone through some real stuff, but I think also that's what fuels us to share the glamorous parts also, because we say, you can make something beautiful of your life, even with pain, even with hardship. And so we try and be as real as we can. I think there is an element of social media that is work, it is job, and you almost do have to compartmentalize it, but like I had to do with my nursing. I'd face an awful shift, I'd get to my front door, I'd have to park those emotions, that, go in, be able to have a nice dinner with my husband, be able to sleep well that night. There's parts of maybe a lot of people's jobs and careers and things where you do have to separate it a little bit from real life, and I think social media does have that element, but we also try and use our social media to bring light, to bring truth, to bring that
hope,
real element, and hope.
And I think it's really important that actually, we do share hope, we share life, we share what's possible. When you do work, when you are courageous, when you do step out of the box, when you don't live by fear, but actually you're led by faith. And that's what we try and do as well as possible, and we try and marry the two worlds as best as possible. Like, we really believe in hybrid. Evidently I'm black, Kezia is white. Like, we believe in the merging of like two worlds. They can coexist and they can be complementary of one another. And it's not about one or the other, but for us it's like, okay, cool, how do the two marry and live together? So that's really what we have based our life upon.
That's great. No, really, really good. And I think as well, people, it's like going back to that perception thing. So it's like your Instagram's beautiful. And you look at the shoots that you do, but I could imagine people going in there thinking you own all of those wedding dresses. Or
I wish.
And it's not like that at all, is it?
Absolutely not. No.
And even with that, like, sorry, you were going to say something funny. I'm going to say something a bit deep. I was just like, the funny thing with that is like, people don't realize I've struggled with my body image my whole life. Like, I have struggled with my weight up and down. I've struggled with, I got bullied from a young age for being fat. I married Jordan older and people would send me messages on Instagram saying like, oh, she must have to be really secure, like, or like, oh, she's punching way above her weight, you know.
Oh, wow.
Because you're putting yourself
that's
out.
The least of
that's
it.
the least of it. Oh, goodness. We're just...
Clean version.
But, you know, but it's funny because then people look and they're like, oh, well, she's a model. Like, she's a model. She's beautiful. She's wearing all these wedding dresses. Whereas actually people don't realise, for me, that took so much courage. That took so much,
putting
like,
yourself out there.
putting myself out there.
And just to go even one step further, so probably round when we, you know, got married, that's when you were probably in your peak of your
like my fitness, like my
everything.
confidence,
And actually because of the mental blocks that you had, like you wanted to cover your arms.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I bought a sleeved wedding dress because I could not bear the thought of having my arms out on my wedding day. Now I look back on those photos, I'm like, give me those, give me just give me anything. You know, I'm here like postpartum, do you know what I mean, after breastfeeding and not being able to shift like any weight since having my baby. But you know, I'm also sat here knowing more about who I am, and also my husband like championing me in who I am, and knowing that we've had to have difficult conversations over the years because how I see myself has affected our marriage sometimes, you know, when you don't feel good or feel sexy yourself, you then don't want to be sexy with your husband. And then he's like, well, you know, I married you, I love you, but like also I feel like you don't feel great, which means you're not looking after yourself, which then means, you know, so it's like we've had to have those, conversations, but I'm grateful to be sat here like I've got knowing more about who I am, and I think knowing that we don't have to be on social media, we chose to be on social media, so these are the things that unfortunately come with it. But there's also been, you know, we, as much as we get messages about, you know, we get racist messages, we get ignorant messages, we also get messages of people saying, wow, you've really, like, I needed to see your video today, you've reminded me that, you know, XYZ's possible, or, you know, I've just had a miscarriage and, you know, I felt like I wasn't allowed to grieve because it was early. You've reminded me that it was significant and, you know, it's okay not to be okay. And, you know, we get those messages. So we're like, it's worth the negative, it's worth the hate, it's worth whatever, because even if we can just help one person, we can make one person feel less alone, we can inspire one person, we can, you know, help someone. I remember we just called on all our friends and like family, well, our social media family, Christmas last year, we were like, we scrounged together some money left over from our renovation. We were like, we can buy like 5 people a £60 gift card for a supermarket so you can do your Christmas dinner shop. Like, please let us know of anyone who is struggling to, you know, buy their Christmas dinner this year. And then off the back of that, we had like probably 5, 6, 7 more messages of people saying, I'll give £50. So for another voucher, and I'll give £50. And we were able to provide like,
that's amazing.
I think 25 families / single parents with a £50 to £80 gift card to do their Christmas shop. You know, it's like, you do also see the power of social media when you put yourself out there.
It's the power of influence. I think, you know, it's very similar to, I would use the analogy, you know, a knife, right? You can use it to slice bread, or someone could use it to harm somebody. It depends on whose hands that you know that tool is in. Same thing with social media, the platform. Okay, are you going to use it for good, for positivity? Are you going to use it for, you know, something which is negative, something which is harmful? We choose to use ours to uplift and to benefit people. To serve people, to support people, to encourage people, and.
Sorry, I was just going to. I remember you always using a phrase of like, you know, our influence is probably very, very small in the grand scheme of things. We've got probably a tiny fraction of a lot of people. But I remember Jordan saying when we got married, we might not be able to change the whole world, but we can change our world. Like we can do our part to try and make a difference. And so, that's where we're at.
And I like that analogy of the knife because it's also, it's a tool you have to handle with care.
Correct.
So you don't cut yourselves either.
Absolutely. So true.
I think it's I think it's been shown you're doing that because you're trying to be honest and clear that, hey, look, these clothes aren't as glitz as you think they are,
absolutely.
and the jobs we're doing it's not as glamorous as you think.
Correct.
And that's telling because the post where you shared about your son's birthday and is your most successful post, isn't it? It's like, it went viral, is that right?
Yeah, about the look.
The look.
Yes, the look. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then showing the backstory. Yeah, it got like over 1 million views, and you know,
it just shows.
We had so many messages. People want to see that realness and know that, like,
and that's what we've learned. People actually want what's authentic. I think people are just burnt out with.
Where's that
what
outfit
is
from today, babe?
This is from Primarché.
I love it.
Actually, like we are so down to earth.
Yeah.
We're just every day. We're just like, yes, we've got big dreams, big aspirations, big hopes. And the reason for that, and we want to make it really clear, it's not for ourselves. Like, we want to be able to be people who can bless people.
Yeah.
We want to be able to support people, and like, you need resources to do that.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do. You know, that's why we, you know, you hit life so hard.
You can't like shy away or be embarrassed from the good moments in life, from also
Yeah.
celebrating
Absolutely.
those
Yeah.
things.
No.
So
No.
it's getting that balance.
Nor should you.
Nor should
And
we.
having a
should you?
grateful heart, isn't
Yes,
it? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, I could go on a tangent with that, but I won't.
Stay.
But
Resist.
yeah.
So I think off the back of that, so you're in, it's a fairly stressful industry you've gotten yourselves in, where you are putting your relationship on the front page,
Yeah.
open to scrutiny,
Yes.
and you are still the 100 couple,
Yes.
and you're still going everything really hard and 100%, which is great. What advice then would you give to couples? Like, what practically are you doing to make sure you two are okay to begin with, most importantly,
Sure.
but also maintaining that passionate, romantic drive that you had in the first 5 months of your
Yeah.
engagement and
Yeah.
marriage? So what would you recommend that like anyone could like?
There's some very standard answers, like prioritize your communication, like, make room for date nights and things. We genuinely do prioritize fun, like to have fun together. That often looks like family dynamics, but we actually said a phrase the other day, which I do want to coin, because it says, people say romance dies when you have kids, or we say kids go to bed at 8 p.m. Like, it's like, it's actually choosing.
It's true.
Like, okay, when we put him to bed 7:30, 8 p.m, we actually do have an evening. And it's so easy to then just want to scroll on your phone or clean up the
Veg
kitchen,
out,
ready for tomorrow and lay
yeah.
down. But actually, like, we've had to learn to become really intentional with the little time that we do have. And so I remember we did like a little thing before Christmas, where we thought, okay, what did we used to do before having our little boy? Well, we used to love a cinema date, like absolutely. And then we used to love like a bowling or like the arcade or something fun. So Jordan said, okay, he put in the joint calendar, thank you, babe, date night on it. And I thought, oh, okay, he's got a date night for me Saturday night. So we put our baby boy to bed, and then I went upstairs for like an hour. He was like, just, do whatever. Came downstairs and he'd done a home cinema night. So we'd got a projector, he'd made some popcorn, we had like a film on the wall, he'd like spun our sofa around, so on like the big wall above the log burner, lit the fire, and we just had this like cinema night. And it was like at home. And then 2 weeks later, pops the joint calendar date night, and Jordan's like, oh, Kezia must be organising this one. And I did at-home bowling. I got like a kids bowling set. That is so It's actually on our Instagram. I did film setting it up. I got a bed sheet so that it wouldn't make, because we've got tiles, so it wouldn't make too much noise when the pins fell over. Nipped up the road and got us milkshakes. I did try and find slushies, but it was impossible. Got us milkshakes, put our son's like astronaut light on, so it was all like disco lights. And we did home bowling, and I'm sorry, but I won it.
She did
I
win.
love
I
that.
found a new calling in my life, and it is miniature bowling, because I've never beaten him in
idea.
real bowling. But it's like becoming creative
so
with
good.
the time we have to keep like date nights real, to keep the romance, going. And like I said, he ran me that bath before Valentine's, did all the balloons and things. And I said to Jordan actually that I literally said, "Why did you do this?" And what did you say?
What did I say?
Do you remember? He got
Kind of.
He's trying to think. I said, "Why did you do this?" He said, "Well, if I don't show you my love,
that's it.
who else am I going to give it to?" He's like, "I
Yeah.
want to show you that I love
Yeah,
you," and he's
I
like,
did.
"I want with the time we have, I want you to know that." And I just thought, like, those intentional things, like, although you're tired, you're exhausted, like, but you know what? It doesn't always have to look like that either. Like,
Doesn't have
sometimes.
to look so elaborate.
I remember someone saying to us before we got married, because we used to, well, we still do now. Whenever we meet other couples and stuff, we will say, "What's your like one advice that you give?" And we try and collect as many as we can, so we can learn and we can grow. And I remember someone saying to me, "You'll always hear quality over quantity in life, but actually in marriage, quantity is just as important." He said there's some things that you can only catch, and you can only like just by being in the presence of your
being
partner.
there.
And actually I realised when
I
we're
like that.
pulled in every single direction during the week and we've spent no time together, when we come together we can butt heads a little bit, and we find that we're clashing a little bit and we're bickering a bit more. Whereas actually, like, sometimes even if we are just sitting in the same room on our phones, it's just being in each other's presence and being around each other. And I might go grab myself a drink and think, oh, Jordan's not had one, and bring him one, and that little action.
Little things.
And try and go to bed at the same time together.
So it's habits, isn't it?
It's just sometimes...
Even like going for a walk or things like that.
Yeah.
Just making time and space just to be connected.
Yeah.
In the best way that we can, with the best, with the time that we
Absolutely.
have, with the capacity that we have, etc.
Yeah, and that can look different for everyone too,
Absolutely,
can't it?
yeah,
And
very
you've got to
different.
figure out as a couple like what that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Like this morning, before we were, before you guys turned up, we were actually asking different staff here in the Care for the Family office what romance was for them and what they found romantic.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And everybody did say something different, and it looks different for everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it got us thinking whilst we were sort of preparing to have a chat with you guys, because you're so romantic. And it got me thinking that am I romantic? Because I would traditionally say I'm not really in that.
Not in a traditional sense of what you kind of picture romance, you know, the candles, the flowers, the...
But it got us thinking,
etc.
what do we mean by romance within a relationship? And I think, like, so I would call it like meaningful things.
Sure.
So we were trying to think, what is romance? And we sort of decided that it's whatever makes you feel close.
Sure.
What draws you close to one another.
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
I described it to you as whenever I feel emotionally close to you, I see that as romantic.
Romance, yeah.
Yeah. So like I did. This is me I'm gonna try and beat your petal story.
Here we go.
Right, we'll see. We'll see.
Let's go.
Well, please comment below if you think.
Get a poll up on Instagram.
So for your birthday, can't even remember now. Was it Christmas?
Christmas,
Right, for Christmas, LJ was pregnant with Iona,
Yeah.
our daughter, first child, and I wanted to get her something really special. And Iona is actually an island off Scotland.
Okay.
Really, really cool history there. And funnily enough, our son Patrick is named after St. Patrick, who partly did a lot of his ministry from the island of Iona. So layers.
We like meaning.
Like
We like
meaning
layers.
as well, yeah. Love
So
that.
I bought LJ a little necklace and earrings?
And earrings,
And
yeah.
earrings set from a jeweller's that are on Iona. It is a tiny island. Like it is like an island off an island off an island off an island. So I got this necklace because I thought, well, here is a necklace of the island of Iona, which we're going to call our daughter.
Which nobody else knew at the
Which
time.
no one knew at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like all these different layers of meaning. And for me, I was like, that's how I'm romantic.
That's
kind of
special.
thing.
But you didn't.
But I didn't
at the
think
time
that.
that was romance. Whereas to me, I was like, that's one of the most romantic gifts you've ever given me.
absolutely,
Yeah, I haven't topped that one. Like,
That's hard
That's
to
why
beat.
we're talking about it
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
But I think
Yeah.
it looks different in different seasons of your life as well,
Absolutely.
doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I was going to say, sometimes the most romantic thing that can happen now is I've put Zayo to bed, I come downstairs and all his toys are away and all the
Yeah.
washing's done and he's
Yeah.
done a load of washing and he's made me a hot drink. I'm like,
thank
I
you so
could
much.
literally kiss your face off right now because that, just like the thought of not having to do that means more. But, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I wouldn't have blinked an eye at that.
it
Like,
wouldn't have meant
Well, obviously you
it
didn't.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
meant much. But I think that's the thing with romance, isn't it? I think it's expectation,
Yes.
actually.
It
I
is.
think that's a
You've
massive...
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And what I would say, I think my interpretation of romance would be meeting the unknown expectation of the other person. And I think sometimes for myself, what I try and do is I think, what would my wife like? And how can I meet that?
Yeah.
Even though I might not have said
even
it.
though she may not
Really
have said it,
Simple, but that is
It's really-
actually
I know.
not something you would necessarily think.
consciously think about. Yeah.
But it takes
Hence the
effort.
coaching me. But it takes effort.
Takes
It's
effort.
effort. It takes intention. So, for example, when Kezia has just launched a business.
Hey.
Thank you. Maternity project.
She has, and I'm so proud of her. She's managed to do that in the in between and the hustle of maternity and
Yeah,
figuring
fair
life
play.
out. Really proud of her. And my car, let's just say, is no longer in my possession. No fault of my own.
It was destined to be written off.
I know.
Honestly,
Oh, no.
destined.
I know. But anyway, it's written off. But Kezia took the car. And there's a high street not far from where we live, but it's like a 15-20 minute walk. And I thought, right, she's gone out with a friend for a couple of hours, and I want to just do something special just to celebrate the fact that she has.
It was my launch night.
Because it was her launch night for the
business, yeah.
business.
Okay.
So I walked 20 minutes, brought some balloons, I brought a bouquet of flowers, and obviously she had no clue about it. And obviously, you know, walked
Not
back.
just some, those big letter balloons. And there was like five letters. It was like the letters of my business.
That's a lot.
So I don't know how he carried it back.
Neither do I.
I'm surprised she didn't like lose the L.
Literally. No, I was really worried about that. I got the paperweights. So I carried them all back with a big bouquet of flowers. And, you know, as you walk back in, that was like a nice surprise for you.
And I'd burst into tears because also I'd had no sleep the night before because, you know, our little boy was up. I'd had a really stressful morning trying to get all the last minute stuff. You know, he didn't know any of that, but he just thought, you know what, like...
What would make you feel good?
Yeah, you wanted me to feel seen in that moment, feel celebrated. And I walked in and, yeah, obviously that was so romantic, but you say it almost met an expectation that I didn't really know I had, but actually, I think after the law, like maybe there has been a couple of times, for being real, that there's been a big moment or a big thing, and Jordan's maybe not got me a card or written me something. Then afterwards, I'm thinking like, you feel disappointed, and but actually, then Jordan has the rightly so, to be like, well, you didn't tell me like you wanted that, you didn't communicate. I
didn't realise this was one of those opportunities.
But maybe that's why it means even more when you don't communicate that expectation, and then it's met. You know, that unmet. Not that, you know, I feel like
you did this, and I didn't need to say anything.
Absolutely. So I think it's very individual romance, but I feel like it does look different in different seasons. And sometimes we have the capacity to the big elaborate things. Yeah. And sometimes it's thinking, you know what, all I can do is make you a cup of coffee, but I've done it with love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
every day.
You know, every day.
Surprise.
Every
I'm
day.
like,
wow, another coffee.
I'm so surprised.
I can't believe it. What's the business? Go for a plug. What is it?
Oh, thank you. It's called Lymph. It's the Midlands' first lymphatic roller studio. Yes. So it's infrared lymphatic roller machines. They're amazing for stimulating lymphatic system, detoxification, improving your circulation. Amazing for postpartum recovery, especially after C-sections and things. But they're also amazing for muscle recovery. So it's a wellness studio. It's to help people feel better.
Boom.
I did have a little look at it on your Instagram, and I was like, I wish that was closer.
I know. Well,
I was like, that's so up my street.
We would love to franchise, so keep your eyes peeled.
South Wales branch coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Branch out. Newport,
this
loads of places.
This unit would actually be perfect.
Couple Girls has changed its USP. Very strange, isn't it? I think that's a really good bit to end it. I think that's a really encouraging ending. Thank you guys for coming on. Before you go, we have one more question that we ask every couple that comes on.
Okay.
But you've got a collection of these. You've already hinted at that, so you're going to be fine. Given what you know now, what advice would you give to your younger selves when you first got together?
When we first got together.
When we first got together.
Yes. So, like, you are together and you know this is serious and,
What are you going to say? Don't do it.
Run.
Run, mate.
How did I know? I knew that.
The train leaves at 11:15.
I will go first. I would say to my younger self, just be patient. Just be patient. How things start isn't always how they finish. And, you know, just have patience for change, patience for growth, patience for yourself, you know, more importantly. I think, you know, going into marriage, I had all these expectations and all these things I want to do. Especially as a man, you just want to do everything right and everything has to be perfect and you need to provide and you need to, all of these pressures that I felt I had on myself. And, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. Like you'll figure it out. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully you've married someone who has the, you know, the foresight, the grace for growth as well. You know, they have the grace for sometimes, like what I've learned is it's okay to colour outside the lines. Like it's okay. Like we're still colouring.
Progress over perfection.
Progress over perfection.
Like it.
So that's what I'd say.
Nice
one. That was a good one. I gave him my tagline as well.
I gave you it first.
What would I say? I would say make sure you really like each other. because I feel like love sometimes is the easy part. Like I know I love Jordan. I'm in love with him. He's wonderful. But some days I really don't like him very much. But I feel like we did get married. He became my best friend, and actually I enjoyed being around him. Maybe that's also a different way to word it. Is like, make sure that the person you're marrying you actually enjoy being around. Like you want to spend. So Jordan's like my first pick. If I want to go to cinema, I want to go with Jordan.
Yeah.
I want to go for a coffee, I want to go with Jordan. Yeah, he's my first pick.
Yeah.
It's actually really surprising how many married couples you meet that don't have that element and maybe they haven't actually done much together in like in just plain like friendship terms maybe. So that's probably, and I think I'd also tell myself like, I'd probably say you are gonna make mistakes and you're not always gonna get it right.
And that's okay.
Yeah. But again, choose someone to the best of your ability that you can grow with, that you can be honest with, that you can talk with, and that you feel comfortable, you know, exposing yourself to. Because I think marriage is the most vulnerable thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh yeah.
Like even, you know, even just down to like, wow, just everything, physically, emotionally, mentally. It's very exposing. Like you expose your whole self. And I think also that was probably what I'd end on. Probably tell myself everything you don't like about yourself, you're insecure at, will come out in marriage. But it's beautiful because you actually have someone that you can then work through that with, that you can grow with. And Jordan has made me become the best version of myself, and like he inspires me. I always say to Jordan, I usually write in his birthday cards, I want to be like you when I grow up. I mean, he is only a few years older. He is only a few years older than me, but you know, I've married someone that I genuinely look up to. I think he's wonderful and amazing. And I'm going to remind myself that on days that, you know, I don't like him very much. Yeah, I would tell myself it's an adventure. It is an adventure.
It's a wild ride.
It is a wild ride, but I'm grateful for it.
Guys, this has been so great chatting to you. Thank you so much for coming on and spending time with us and just being so open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've really enjoyed it.
It's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.